Morning, guys. This is Will here at 5 Minute Digital Recording Tips. I'd like to talk a little bit more about sidechaining this morning. It's a sort of a misunderstood topic, and we've covered it a little bit, but it's such an important weapon in the, we'll say, in the arsenal of the electronic musician that I think it bears a little further investigation. So essentially, I've got this bass line here, and I've programmed just a quick little bass line using this little Arturia Moog type of synth. So here it is. Here's no sidechain. Okay. Now, what I've done here is let me make this a little bigger so you can see what it is. I've this we're actually working in Pro Tools here in case you hadn't recognized. What I've done is I've launched an instance of Boom here, which is just a little drum machine in Pro Tools, and I've programmed 4 kicks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've muted everything else. Okay, so if we listen to this, this is it here. I'm going to mute this. Okay, that's all it is. Now I don't want to hear this. Okay, so I'm going to mute it. Now, but what we want to use this as our trigger. So what I do is I create an aux trigger track, this one here, and I send the signal from my trigger kick to this trigger aux. Now the reason that I do this is in order to use this trigger without actually having to listen to the trigger. So if we look at this send channel here, you'll see up here I've got this pre button engaged. What this does is that it enables us to use this trigger kick signal without having to actually listen to it. Okay, so and we've got this around 0, which is fine. Now if we just have a quick listen again to this track, okay, just the bass by itself, and I'm going to engage the compressor, okay, which is what I've done is I've on this bass channel I've engaged a compressor here, and you see up here there's a key, and most of these compressors will have this little key, and I've created an aux channel, an aux send called trigger 1, which if you look at I'm going to draw it with my mouse here, so it goes from the trigger kick to the trigger aux, this trigger 1 send, okay, and then from this trigger aux, trigger from, it goes to this. Okay, so essentially this bass drum here will be driving this compressor. So if we have a quick listen, you can be able to hear the effect. Okay, I've got the attack on 0, and I've fooled around with the release here until I got it where it's sort of pumping with the music. Okay, I mean, a compressor essentially is just an automated volume control, for want of a better word. It's just a way of sort of turning up and down the volume automatically. In this case, we're using a bass drum, so whenever the bass drum engages, it pushes the volume of the bass guitar down. So without no groove really. Now if we were to drop the bass drum into, as you can see, that's a much tighter groove, and you'll hear this a ton in all forms of electronic music, particularly. So I just play around with it a little bit. You can put it on anything. Oftentimes you'll say have a pad in a chorus, and or maybe like a lead synth, and you'll do the same thing. You'll sidechain it to a kick drum, so it's got that sort of pumping quality. You hear it an awful lot actually in French electronic music. Bands like Justice and Daft Punk and so on use it extensively. So there you have it. That's sidechaining. I hope it's been helpful. Any questions, you feel free to email me. So take it easy, guys. Have a good day. Bye.